So the big idea, like I began alluding to in a previous video, is that I believe we are hurtling towards a future where if we do it right and we pretty much stay the course, we are not going to be paying for AI by the token. And instead, we can be producing the tokens ourselves, right? And this isn't some build a data center fantasy or something like that, okay? I'm going to show you that there's a pretty simple way that you can do this today. Okay, so what do I mean by all this? It's very nebulous. So let me just start off by saying that this is not a new concept, but I do think we are at an important juncture here. So the infrastructure to do this has gotten dramatically better, and it's gotten much easier to do it, like I'm going to show you in a minute. But let me just yap and say a few things first. If the paradigm that we're in is that output from LLMs are analogous to human-like intelligence, what's essentially happening is that you are paying for every thought. You're being charged a toll for every chunk of work that you do, right? Now, several open models were released last week. I covered this in previous videos. And in the last year now, running local models on consumer hardware has gotten pretty much mainstream, though it's still got a lot of room to grow. It's very popular now, and it's easier than ever. Are they better than the frontier models? No, obviously not. But many people have hybrid situations now where they use Sol 5.6 or one of the Anthropic models when you need the best of the best, and any other models when the tasks aren't as demanding. We know it as model routing, and it's more and more prevalent. So what does the world currently look like? Okay, providers control pricing, they control limits on access, and they potentially control the exact version of a model that you end up receiving when you make a call. You build your product or you have an existing software service, okay? You integrate a model via the API to enhance some functionality or to make your product better. You pay for the tokens, and it's a little bit expensive, but that's okay because it works great. Your users end up loving the result, okay? Everything's going well. What could go wrong, right? And I know many that have been in this exact scenario. 2 weeks down the line, they end up nerfing the model. 2 weeks down the line, usage gets restricted. 2 weeks down the line, you start getting throttled. You never changed anything about your project, but your users are no longer getting the same experience anymore. Who wants to live with that, right? So the alternative is this other way to architect this that isn't really that much more complicated, okay? The idea is that you start controlling your own destiny a bit more. At the very least, begin running a hybrid type of setup. Now, I know this isn't feasible for everybody to own the hardware required to do this, but you can buy and sort of rent compute instead of buying tokens, okay? That's the overall concept. Now, why is this preferable? Because at least then you're able to use it without token limits. You can run the model yourself. Aren't you sick of begging for resets, of waiting for the providers to reset your usage? Isn't that the most annoying thing ever? We got to break free from that. Tokens become output that you no longer have to pay per task. And that, in my opinion, is ideal. It's become very easy to manage this sort of setup, especially if only a few people are using it, right? And it's still not perfect for a single person, especially because of the cost. And a wealthy enough person who doesn't want to be beholden to the labs could do this. And you may say, hey, Tyler, self-hosting is very hard. I think I found one of the simplest ways to do this, okay? So we're looking at a service called Modal. Many of you probably know Modal. For those that don't, this is not a new company. It's been around for a while, and many people are doing this, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to create an endpoint, and you are offered free credits to try this out. So I encourage you to do that, just to see if maybe this is something that you could get going in the future. You're going to go ahead and choose open weights and choose something like Qwen 3.8. Okay, you can also bring your own weights if you have a fine tune or something, which is another plus. Then you just launch it. It's going to install everything in the image and then start up a container. Okay, that's running your whole setup. And that's it. There's a few parameters that you can change if you want to control the auto scaling or how many containers it's going to run once more users get added or once more usage is required. You can run the math to find out how your model does with X number of people at your organization, etc. Now, when I ran Qwen 3827B, I did it in the last video on an H200. You may remember that. Prices for that are about $4.50 an hour. So let's call it $5 an hour. And if you run it during the workday, let's say $40 a day. Okay, that's $1,200 a month. Now ask yourself, is it worth having an extra employee at your business that you pay $1,200 a month? We're changing the economic model here. So you got to do a little DevOps, fine. But let me tell you guys something. In case you couldn't tell, you watch my videos, okay? You know that I'm an idiot, right? I'm kind of
retarded.
You couldn't find somebody who's worse at DevOps than me. But even I could do it so that we could have a setup of 3 people. And so now you've got tools like SGLang for the serving framework or VLLM. If you are running on your own hardware, you can use Llama CPP if you prefer. And you also have stuff like we just looked at, like modal endpoints, which make it extremely easy to scale up if you want. This is doable on the bigger clouds too. It's probably just not as streamlined, but you could always rent a computer and set this up. Now, if you have deeper pockets and you want a more capable model, you can probably run Kimi K3, which if you haven't tried, it's incredible, for like $8,000 a month if you're using it only during the workday, let's say. And I'm going to keep repeating it. You have unlimited tokens. There's no limit on your usage during the time that you've got the setup going. Okay. So what could you do with that? All right. So that's enough of that. I'm done with this whole cringe screed. But why am I ranting about all this? Okay. So let's just think back a little. It's borderline abusive what's going on. Okay, Anthropic spends millions of dollars on lawyers to lobby the government to regulate them so that only people that they select can use the models, right? They fearmonger that every week, if they release something, we're looking at a nuclear holocaust. It's ridiculous. The Department of Commerce and the Department of War and Howard Lutnick are banning models whenever they feel like OpenAI is falling behind. And speaking of OpenAI, just this week, they announced that they're going to slash prices on Sol by 50% or more on the gateways, on Vercel and OpenRouter. Now, why are they doing that? Is it because the technology is getting better? They can make it cheaper? Maybe. Why are they doing that? Because they're really nice guys. Okay. Right. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that if they cut prices on OpenRouter, it's going to look like their usage numbers are going up. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that they're trying to juice token usage numbers so that unsophisticated investors see it and think that things are going extremely well, so that in a few months when they IPO, they can dump hundreds of billions of dollars worth of shares on the stupid proletariat retail heads. Now, I'm not saying all of this so that you come away with it with something lame, thinking that these are bad guys or whatever, right? They're just trying to get theirs. They're trying to make money. Some may even say that they deserve it. And the Chinese labs aren't altruistic when they drop a free model or whatever. There's a huge battle, entire geopolitical situation going on here. And so you don't gotta hate the player, but you do gotta play the game. You gotta play it in a way that's advantageous to you. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Am I totally off base here? Are you guys running a setup at your house? Do you have something in the cloud? Hit me up on Discord. It's good to see some of y'all in there sharing what you're working on. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Love you. Bye.